Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. We're reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 17, entitled Victory of Hiranyaksha over all the directions of the universe. Okay. Text 19. Chakri Hiraṇyakaśipu Durbhyam Brahma Varenacha Vashisa Palan Lokam Strin Akuto Mrityur Uddhatatha. Chakri made Hiraṇyakaśipu Durbhyam by his two arms, Brahma Varena by the benediction of Brahma, Cha and Vashi under his control, Sapalan along with the protectors, Lokan the worlds, Trin three, Akutaha Mrityuha fearing death from no one, Uddhataha puffed up. The translation and purport by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. The elder child Hiraṇyakaśipu was unafraid of death from anyone within the three worlds because he received a benediction from Lord Brahma. He was proud and puffed up due to his benediction and was able to bring all three planetary systems under his control. Purport. As will be revealed in later chapters, Hiraṇyakaśipu underwent severe austerity and penance to satisfy Brahma and thus receive a benediction of immortality. Actually, it is impossible even for Lord Brahma to give anyone the benediction of becoming immortal, but indirectly Hiraṇyakaśipu received the benediction that no one within this material world would be able to kill him. In other words, because he originally came from the abode of Vaikuntha, he was not to be killed by anyone within this material world. The Lord desired to appear himself to kill him. One may be very proud of his material advancement in knowledge, but he cannot be immune to the four principles of material existence, namely birth, death, old age, and disease. It was the Lord's plan to teach people that even Hiraṇyakaśipu, who was so powerful and strongly built, could not live more than his destined duration of life. One may become as strong and puffed up as Hiraṇyakaśipu and bring under his control all the three worlds, but there is no possibility of continuing life eternally or keeping the conquered booty forever. So many emperors have ascended to power, and they are now lost in oblivion. That is the history of the world. Hare Krishna. I'm so happy to be with all of you again in Almvik. Thank you for inviting me. Hare Krishna. So, here is very interesting part of Srimad Bhagavatam, which I will try to connect to the month of Kārttika, which begins today. A very auspicious day, actually. Yes. So here we can see that Hiraṇyakaśipu was unafraid of death from anyone, because he received this benediction from Lord Brahma. And therefore, he was proud and puffed up and was able to bring all three planetary systems under his control. Yes. Although he was so powerful and mighty that he was able to bring all 3 planetary systems under his control, he couldn't control his anger, for example. And he couldn't control his own son, although he was a little boy, 5 years old. He couldn't control him. And why he couldn't control his son? And this is a very important point. Because his son was under the control of Krishna only. So, if you are Krishna's servants, actually we don't have to become anyone other's servant. That's because Krishna is supremely powerful. Krishna is supreme Lord of all lords. He is the most wealthy personality. In the 2nd canto, it is described that one who serves the Lord doesn't need to serve any materialistic person. Yes. Why? Lord is the most powerful personality, most wealthy, and he definitely takes care of his servants. He takes care of everyone, every living entity, not just his servants. Yes. What to speak of his servants? Yes. Takes care of every living entity. Yes, once in the time of Lord Jesus, Jesus collected these fishermen and other simple people and said to them to follow him, and that they will become the fishermen of souls, of human beings. That they will catch human souls, not fish anymore. And they were worried, how will we survive if we just give up everything? And he said, you have to have faith. Who is dressing these lilies on the field that more opulently than the King Solomon? Yes, the Lord is dressing them, and Lord gives food to birds under the sky. Why wouldn't he take care of his devotees? Yes. So we just have to have faith in the power of the Lord, and then we can be unafraid. Here Hiraṇyakaśipu was unafraid, but because of his so-called power. But the devotee is unafraid, like Prahlad was unafraid, because he was surrendered to Krishna. Yes. And we can see that Hiraṇyakaśipu was ultimately destroyed, although he was so powerful that everyone was offering obeisances to him. Even Narada Muni is explained was singing the glories of Hiraṇyakaśipu on his veena. But Prahlad, although he was materially completely weak, we could say, he wasn't defeated. Actually, he was victorious. Yes. So, even if our body ultimately is completely destroyed, if we are completely surrendered to Krishna, nothing is destroyed. This body will be destroyed sooner or later. It's just a matter of time. And this time is very quickly it ends. I think that the father of my Gurudev, when he was 100 years old or something, he asked, why the life is so short? When one is 100 years old, he's still wondering how everything went by so quickly. Yes. I remember when I was 12 or something, I couldn't imagine that sometime I will be 15. This 15 was so far away from 12. Did you have similar experience? Yes. When you're 12, 15 is extremely far. Yes, you can't imagine that you will be, one day you will be 15. So old. And now you turn a few times around and you're 55 and 65 and 75 and 85. If you live so long. Yes. Hare Krishna. So this body will be destroyed sooner or later. So if we are proud of any our material position, we are crazy actually. Yes. Nothing else than craziness. Because we are proud of some dust that is whirling around. Yes. This is the body. Material body is just collection of some dust. Yes. And nothing more. And also this subtle body is also collection of subtle dust. And nothing more. So if you are proud of anything, that means that we have mental problems. Yes. Don't be proud. Be proud of Krishna and Krishna's devotees. Yes, you can be proud. You can engage your natural pride, but in Krishna. And if we compare this to Dāmodarāṣṭaka prayer, for example, Hiraṇyakaśipu was extremely proud, but the Lord came ultimately as Lord Nrsimhadev and easily destroyed extremely powerful Hiraṇyakaśipu, extremely powerful demon. So the Lord wasn't at least afraid of great demon, of the greatest of the demons. But he was very afraid of his mother. Yes. Let us sing the first verse of Dāmodarāṣṭakam. Namam Ishwaram Sachitanandarupam Lasat Kundalam Gokule Brajamanam. Yashodabhiyalukaladavamanam param rishtyam atyanta tudrutya gopya. Hare Krishna. So this verse starts with Namam Ishwaram Sachitananda Rupam. First, Satyavrat Muni offered his humble obeisances to the Supreme Lord. Yes. And we can say this, he acknowledges the Lord Aishwarya, his greatness, his embodiment of bliss, eternal bliss, cognizant bliss. It's impossible to imagine the body made of bliss. Can you imagine the body made of bliss? We have body made of water, fire, ether, earth, and so on. But the Lord's body is composed of bliss, eternal bliss. Yes. So his Ishvara, Paramah Krishna, Sachitananda Vigraha, and here the same characteristics are used. Sachitananda Vigraha. Anadir Adir Govinda Sarva Karana Karanam. Lord Brahma explains that Lord is the origin of everything. He is without beginning. He is Anadi. Adi means beginning. And he is Anadi, without beginning. And everything actually is without beginning. Because everything is part of the Lord. Only these material forms are ever changing. But this is also without beginning. Yes. So, that Supreme Lord, who is the origin of everything, and who is the embodiment of eternal bliss, cognizant bliss, I offer my respectful obeisances. And then, it's from this Aishwarya mood, he immediately turns to Madhurya. Lasat Kundalam. Yes, you have these wonderful earrings, and these earrings are Makara earrings. Do you know Makara? What is Makara? Prabhupada translates as shark, yes. But Makara is some kind of some sea beast. I don't know how to translate. There is no equivalent in English actually. So therefore, there are different translations of Makara. Prabhupada usually translates as shark, but sometimes he also translates in Chaitanya Charitamrita as dolphins. So it's definitely some sea animal. But Makara is famous as the carrier of Cupid. So these are carriers of Cupids that is dangling on his ears. He's so beautiful, and and here we have this scene of how Mother Yashoda one day she churned butter herself, because she heard so many complaints that Krishna is stealing butter from different houses in neighborhood, that she wanted to make proper butter herself. She was thinking that maybe my maidservants, they don't do proper butter, but I will make proper butter today. And it was Deepavali day, and she gave the day off to her maidservants, and she decided to make her butter for Krishna. And this butter was made from very special cows. It is said that Maharaj Nanda had 900,000 cows, but these were his foremost of cows. Otherwise, it is explained that Krishna and Nanda Maharaj, of course, had unlimited cows. But of this unlimited, 900,000 was foremost. And from this 900,000, 1,000 were most prominent, were the best of cows. And they collected and they fed these cows with special grass, Gandhamadana grass, extremely fragrant grass. And then they collected this milk of these 1,000 cows and gave this milk to special 108 cows. And then they fed milk with to these cows. And then from these 108 cows, they gave this special milk, because it was condensed bliss, to 8 special cows. And from these 8 special cows, they gave this milk to the best of cows, the best of cows. And from the milk of this one best of cows, Mother Yashoda churned butter for Krishna. And also she put a pot of milk on the stove, also for Krishna. And then she was churning and singing songs about Krishna. This is the scene in Vrindavan. Everything about Krishna. And we could see before it was everything about Hiraṇyakaśipu. Here is everything about Krishna, and there was everything about Hiraṇyakaśipu. So as long as we don't put Krishna in the center of our life, we are little Hiraṇyakashipus. We try to control. Yes, Shri Panchatatva ki jai. We try to control our tiny 3 worlds. Yes, of our mind and body and everything around us. Yes, and we want to destroy anything that is opposed to our will. This is material life. But we can see here Mother Yashoda was exclusively serving Krishna. And Krishna was asleep at that time. And by the way, it is explained that there are 2 Dāmodaras, 2 aspects of Damodara. Both is, of course, Krishna. And one is Yashoda Damodar, and the other is Radha Damodar. Once there was Krishna and Radha were planning a meeting, and Krishna didn't appear when he should, according to their agreement. And he was late. And Radharani was extremely upset because he was late. And she bound Krishna with some golden vines. Yes. And then Krishna explained that he was late because Mother Yashoda prepared some festival and she didn't let him go. So then Srimati Radharani acknowledged this excuse and let Krishna free. Yes. So this when we sing this song, we can and we should become immersed in this madhurya love. That means sweetness, not necessarily ujjvala rasa, which means this conjugal, as Prabhupada translates, conjugal love. But definitely we should engage our meditation on this Vrindavan Lila. Rupa Goswami explains in his Upadeshamrita what is the essence of all advice, what is the essence of all instructions. It is Tannama Rupa Charitadu Sukirtananu Smrityoh Kramena Rasanama Nasini Yojya Tishtam Vrajeta Dhanaragi Jananugami Kalam Nayeta Kalam Itupadesha Saram. Saram means the essence, and Upadesha means instruction. So the essence of instruction is to glorify the Lord with His names and to glorify His qualities and Leela, His pastimes, and always remember Him. Yes. Smrityoh Kramena Rasanama Nasini Yojya. We should engage our mind. We should dive in this Lord's pastimes. Yes. Tishtam Vrajeta Dhanaragi Jananugami. And this is very difficult part of instruction. That we should always live in Vrindavan and follow the residents of Vrindavan. And as Rupa Goswami says, this is the essence of all instruction. This is not just one of the instructions, but the essence of all. So we should take it seriously, if it is the essence of all instructions. So one may ask, how can we live in Vrindavan if we live in Sweden, or if we live in some other part of this world? Yes, it is possible, because Vrindavan is unlimited. It's not limited to some geographical place. Of course, we know that there is a holy Dham, which is in Vrindavan in India. But still, wherever there is Krishna, there is Vrindavan, because Krishna doesn't go out of Vrindavan even for a moment. So if we have Krishna in our heart, in our meditation, if we read about him, we discuss Krishna, we hear about Krishna, we chant his names, then we live in Vrindavan. Where else? Yes. But this should be our constant remembrance. It shouldn't be something mechanical. Yes. The problem is that I perceive, not just outside, but also inside, in myself, that this tendency is that we think that the process is mechanical. But it is not, because nothing in this world is mechanical. I think nothing of spiritual world is mechanical. Everything in material world is mechanical. But spirit is not mechanical. Spirit is spiritual. It's about consciousness. It's not about mechanics. So, if we perform our spiritual sadhana, our spiritual life mechanically, we cannot achieve spiritual result. We have to understand this. Yes, it's impossible. Yes. Therefore, when we recite these 10 offenses to the holy name, it is obvious that if we are inattentive, it's an offense. It's an offense. If we have material desire, it's an offense. Yes. If we think that I can commit offenses or I can live sinfully on the power of the holy name, it's an offense. If I don't have full faith, it's an offense. So many offenses. So, as long as there are offenses in our heart, in our consciousness, it's impossible to connect. It's impossible to live in Vrindavan. And therefore, this sadhana bhakti is so important. First, we should know what is our goal. And Prabhupada gives us in every Mangalarati is actually remembering us of our goal. Because it's very rasika, very, very deep. It remembers us what is our goal. Yes, we sing like this about our goal. But we should know what we are singing. Automatic, mechanical singing will not help. It's about consciousness. It's about consciousness. Therefore, Prabhupada established Krishna consciousness movement, not Krishna's activities. Because, of course, we do Krishna's activities, but it's about consciousness. So, activities without consciousness are dead. Yes, as the matter is dead. So activities without consciousness are dead. Yes, it would be like tape recorder repeating the holy name. It's dead. The tape recorder will not be liberated. Because of, even if he constantly chants the holy name, 24 hours a day. So if we have tape recorder consciousness, it will not help. Because definitely we will think of something. We cannot think of nothing. Yes. Tape recorder thinks of nothing. So this sign of being dead. But we, as living entities, we have to think of something. So if we don't think of Krishna, we'll definitely think of material things. So we can see Hiraṇyakaśipu was full of himself, thinking of himself, perform austerities for himself, establishing the universal order for himself, everything for himself. But here Mother Yashoda was churning butter for Krishna, cooking milk for Krishna, singing songs for Krishna. Yes, Krishna was always in the center of the consciousness of Mother Yashoda. So, therefore, Krishna becomes her beloved child. Krishna completely forgets about his power, about his glory, about his magnanimous features. Although he is the Lord of the universe, although he is great Ishvaram, Namam Ishvaram Sachitananda Rupam, he becomes little child, afraid of his mother. He's not afraid of the greatest of demons, but he's afraid of his mother. One may think it's good for a child to be afraid of his mother. Is it? Or it's not? Not? Both. Yes. Both. Sometimes it's good that the child is afraid of his mother, because mother has to teach the child something. And the child usually is not good all the time, has naughty part of his nature. And he or she should be taught how to live in this world properly. Otherwise, if the child is not taught, if the child is not afraid sometimes of his mother or father, he becomes little Hiraṇyakaśipu. Yes. Yes. Then I, me. That's his consciousness of the child. So the child should be taught, no, it's not only you. It's Krishna. Actually. I remember one time, my son, when he was, 3 or 4 years old, he took some toy, and there was some girl who said, "No, this is mine." And my son said, "Nothing is yours. Everything is Krishna's." And she was crying, "No, this one." Hare Krishna. So, children should be taught everything is Krishna's. Yes. And if my 2 sons were fighting for something, I took it away from both of them. I didn't discover whose fault was something or whose fault was not. I just took this away from both of them. That they should understand that nothing is theirs of any of them. Yes. So Mother Yashoda was churning butter and singing songs about Krishna, and then because the tears were dripping from her eyes, and milk was flowing from her breasts because of love of Krishna. And because of her deep emotion and love, Krishna woke up, because Krishna was sleeping at the time. But her love attracted him so much that he woke up. So, if we can say that Krishna is sleeping in our heart, because if we can't connect with Krishna, that means Krishna is sleeping. Krishna doesn't respond to our calling. So, therefore, Prabhupada writes in the first canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, in his purport to the prayers of Queen Kunti, 8th chapter, that the quality of our chanting depends on the quality of our feeling. So it's important to develop this quality of feeling towards Krishna. And therefore we chant such songs as Dāmodarāṣṭaka to develop this great quality of feeling. And we sing also these songs for Mangalarati, for example, which are also full of deep feelings. Yes, to develop this deep feeling for Krishna, which is necessary. Of course, artificial tears will not help us. Prabhupada writes somewhere that artificial tears will wash away all the conclusions of the Vedas. So, artificial tears are not beneficial, are detrimental for our spiritual life. So we should not try to imitate great ecstasies of these great devotees like Mother Yashoda, but we should long for their bhava. Yes, we should long for their bhava. This is the most important thing. And if we long for the bhava of these Krishna's associates in Vrindavan, then we can live in Vrindavan constantly, and we follow the example of the Brajavasis. Yes, and this is the only way to connect to Vraja Krishna, to Krishna in Vrindavan. It's no other way. It is explained in Chaitanya Charitamrita that Lord Krishna is not satisfied with Vaidhi Bhakti. With Bhakti that is conducted by rules and regulations. He is attracted to Raga Bhakti, to Bhakti filled with emotions. But, of course, we should know that Raga Bhakti is very elevated. Therefore, Raganuga, Anuga means to follow. Bhakti is to follow in the footsteps of those who have Raga Bhakti. Yes. And therefore we should, therefore this hearing is so important. Hearing is extremely important. Not just hearing, but also associating with those who have Raga. Yes. Only then we can deeply hanker for Raga ourselves also. If we don't have any connection with Raga, then it's not possible to develop Raga just like this. Yes, not possible. We have to connect. And this is through hearing, through reading, through personal association. Whatever association we can get, we should get. Yes. Therefore, it is explained throughout Bhagavatam that without taking the abhishekam of dust from the lotus feet of the devotees, nothing can be achieved. So, yes. And we can see here that tears and milk of love attracted Krishna. And Krishna came to Mother Yashoda and took her by her sari, and he wanted to drink the liquid love of Mother Yashoda. Milk is liquid love. And Krishna arranges this liquid love for the child to manifest immediately when the child is born. But, of course, this milk of Mother Yashoda is the best. Like this, the best of the best milk that was churned by Mother Yashoda. So Yashoda also had the best milk for Krishna. So, but then this milk on the stove, when Krishna was happily sucking mother's milk, the milk, this cow's best of best milks on the stove was starting to overflow. And Mother Yashoda quickly put aside Krishna, who was completely satisfied, and went to save this milk from the stove. It's interesting, isn't it? And Krishna became extremely dissatisfied. One would think that, how is this bhakti? That Krishna, who is satisfied, is put aside and he becomes extremely dissatisfied, and Mother Yashoda is attending to something else, to some milk, although they wouldn't have thousands and thousands of cows. And she's concerned about few drops of milk. And she's putting aside Krishna, who was completely satisfied. And she definitely made Krishna dissatisfied and angry, very much angry. And so Krishna wanted to take revenge and took some stone, yes, and broke the butter pot. And then she took some butter and went away and fed the monkeys with this most magnificent butter, most delicious butter. And then Mother Yashoda came back and saw just buttery footprints and no Krishna, and broken pot. And Krishna went to the store of butter and broke another pot of butter. He even climbed the wooden mortar to get to the other pot, from which he fed monkeys. And Mother Yashoda saw him. She took a stick in her hand, and she slowly and softly came behind Krishna to get him. But the monkeys saw Mother Yashoda, and they screamed, and in great fear they escaped. And then Krishna also jumped from the wooden mortar and started to run as fast as he could. And it is explained in Upanishads that Krishna is the fastest of the fastest. Then he cannot be caught even by the greatest munis, and the greatest of thinkers, the greatest of yogis, they cannot catch Krishna even in their mind, what to speak in their body. But Mother Yashoda, she was not slim, she was not according to modern standards of these mannequins. Yes, she was described as quite corpulent, actually. And she was chasing Krishna with her stick. But it is explained that she was running faster than Krishna. Faster than the fastest. Yes. And this is, of course, again, because of her love. Krishna cannot be caught by any means except by love. Love is more powerful than the most powerful one. So bhakti has greatest power than Krishna himself. Yes, Krishna is the most powerful. And he easily destroys different demons. He's not afraid of any demon. Yes. But bhakti is so powerful that Krishna is afraid of his devotees if this nourishes the devotion of his devotees. Yes. But he doesn't think of it. It's just natural. This flow of love in Vrindavan is completely natural. And we hear about it to start to hanker ourselves also. Because without this hankering, nothing is possible. Krishna explains in 12th chapter of Bhagavad-gita, Maiva manadatsva mai buddhim niveshaya, nivesishyasi maiva aturdvama samshaya. That we should be always engaged in thinking of Krishna. That our intelligence should always be dwelling in Krishna. And thus, Krishna says that thus you will always live with me if you be engaged in such meditation all the time. Yes, and then he says, Atachetum samadatum nashaknoshi maistiram abhyasa yoga natatum amichavtum dhananjaya. But if you can't immerse in such a samadhi all the time, then engage in abhyasa yoga, in practice, in sadhana bhakti. And thus you will develop desire to attain me. If you engage in deep sadhana bhakti. So this sadhana bhakti is our only hope, actually, to develop desire. Unless we are in samadhi all the time. If you are not in samadhi all the time, then sadhana bhakti is our only hope. There is no other hope. Yes. And to get connected with these deep emotions that are expressed in Shastra. But first we should understand the tattva very well. If we don't understand the tattva very well, that means the truth about Krishna, who Krishna is, what is his Aishwarya also, we cannot understand Krishna's Madhurya feature. We cannot understand his sweetness if we don't understand his greatness. It is explained by Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur that this naughtiness of Krishna is not naughtiness of ordinary child. Krishna is not an ordinary child. Krishna is Supreme Personality of God. Yes, Ishvara Parama Krishna, Satchitananda Vigraha. Yes. So we should understand his greatness first. And also we can see that in separation from Krishna, even the Vrajvasis understand that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Yes, they can see clearly everything, like in the light of scorching sun. It is explained that this separation from Krishna is like rays of scorching sun. Yes, it burns so much. We know in India the sun is even more scorching than in Sweden, for example. I don't know if you have experience of scorching sun here in Sweden. Sometimes, but rarely, I believe. But in India, many times they experience scorching sun. But union with Krishna is like soothing rays of the full moon. Today is full moon, I believe. So we can feel the soothing rays of the full moon, and then this sweetness aspect of Krishna is very strong. So they completely forget about his glory and his godhood. Yes. So, therefore, we should dive deep in these deep emotions for Krishna from Shastra and from different acharyas. If we see the songs of our acharyas, of Narottam Das Thakur or Bhakti-Vinod Thakur, these songs are full of longing for Krishna. Yes, full of deep longing, Krishna, and just hoping that we will attain Krishna. And by this hoping, against hope, we can develop great desire to attain Krishna in Vrindavan. And this is our goal, sadhya. Yes. And without consciously desiring this sadhya or this goal, it's impossible to attain it. Yes. Hare Krishna. Is there any question or comment or doubt? Yes, please.
About feeling for Krishna, how, because artificially we can, you said artificial tears will wash away the conclusions of the Vedas, but what is is just the desire to have it, is that what we, just desiring it, is that actually the feeling, or what is?
Yes, desire is what it takes to develop this. It's just a desire. And if we don't have a desire, we should have desire to have desire. And I've heard once Jayapataka Maharaj said that if we don't have desire to have such a desire, we should develop desire to have desire for such a desire. Yes. Because only desire can connect us with this. Otherwise, how we can connect? If you want to go somewhere, you have to have desire to go. If you want to go for breakfast, you have to have desire to eat. Don't you? Otherwise, you would just sit there maybe, or even you won't go there. You have to have desire to go anywhere. So we have to have desire to connect with Krishna in this Madhurya feature, sweetness feature. Yes, it's so important to develop such a desire. And if we recognize that we don't have such a desire, we have to desire such a desire. But to develop this idea at all, we have to hear. Otherwise, we don't know that it's beneficial for us to have such a desire. Therefore, hearing is first requirement in the spiritual path. Hearing, otherwise we don't know what is the process, we don't know what is the goal, what is our position, and we should know that we are the servants. If we don't know that we are the servants, we cannot go in the right direction also. Then we will have a desire to go to spiritual world, to go home back to Godhead, as we can hear many times, just to enjoy, with this enjoying spirit. Yes, I want to go to the spiritual world to get free from miseries of material world and to enjoy. But this is not our position. Therefore, we will not succeed in our desire to enjoy Krishna. Because we are meant for Krishna's enjoyment. Krishna is not meant for our enjoyment. So if we pray, Krishna, please fulfill this desire, Krishna, please fulfill that, my desire, we don't understand our position. We reverse the roles. we take Krishna as our servant. But we are reminded all the time through our acharyas that, as Prabhupada puts, that, and he quotes Bhaktisiddhanta, that Krishna is not our order supplier. Yes. So, if you pray for health, if you pray for good husband, for good wife, for good job, for good facilities, we miss the point. We don't know who's the master and who's the servant, actually. And we don't know that we are really the servants. And that Krishna knows best what is best for us. So we should know our position. We should know Sambandha Gyan. We should know what is Abhidaya. Abhidaya is to always think of Krishna. This is actually true Abhidaya. Smartavya satatam Vishnur vismartavya najatuchit. Sarve vidhi nishedaksyur itar eva kinkara. All other instructions of Shastra are just maidservants of this one injunction and one prohibition. One injunction is to always remember Krishna, and the one prohibition is to never forget him. Never forget Krishna. Yes. And most easy way to always remember Krishna and never forget him, in Kali Yuga especially, is to always chant the holy name. Yes. But most important is to remember Krishna, not just to chant mechanically and do other things during our chanting. This is offensive. Then the effect of chanting is lost. Yes. Yes, please.
You've been speaking about the Raga Bhakti.
Yes.
The only thing that is attracting Krishna. But Prabhupada once said that work now and samadhi later. Can you explain why he said that?
Yes. Because we should understand that we are servants. If we pretend that we are in samadhi, then this is like these artificial tears that will wash away all the conclusions of the Vedas. So, this work now means you should understand that I am a servant. I am the servant of the servant. And if we work in proper consciousness, then we can be in samadhi also during our work. That doesn't mean that if you are in samadhi, that we don't work. We could see here Mother Yashoda, she worked very hard and she perspired of her hard work for Krishna, although she was completely in samadhi all the time. So Yes, Prabhupada warned us very strongly about artificial show of false sentiments, false emotions for Krishna. Because some pretense will also not help. Actually, it's detrimental. Pretense is detrimental, because then it's just we employ our cheating propensity. Because why we would pretend that we have great feelings for Krishna? It's just like once there was a snake charmer in Navadvip, who was chanting some songs about Krishna. And when Haridas Thakur heard him chanting these songs about Krishna, he went in complete ecstasy. And he started to roar, and he fell on the ground unconscious, and then he regained consciousness and rolled on the ground in ecstasy, in complete samadhi. And when this snake charmer saw Haridas Thakur, he stepped aside with folded hands. And everyone around had extreme respect for Haridas Thakur. And then Haridas Thakur regained his external consciousness, and he got up and went away. And there was some Brahmana who saw how much respect Haridas Thakur got with this exhibition of his emotions for Krishna. He decided he will also do it like this. And when this snake charmer again started to sing about Lord Krishna, this Brahmana fell on the ground like Haridas Thakur before and started to roll around and crying Krishna, Krishna. And then this snake charmer took a stick and started to beat this Brahmana extremely severely. So this Brahmana got up and ran away crying for help. And then people were amazed and asked this snake charmer, how come that when Haridas Thakur fell on the floor, you stood aside reverently with your folded hands, and when this Brahmana fell on the floor like Haridas before, you beat him severely? What's the reason? And he said that when I chant about Krishna, Lord Sankarshan enters my body. And when Haridas Thakur came, I could see that he's pure devotee of Krishna, and his true ecstasy of love of God came out, and he couldn't control himself. And he fell on the floor and so on. But when this Brahmana came, he wanted to imitate Haridas Thakur to get some respect from the audience. So I took the stick and beat him severely. So we shouldn't, Prabhupada warned us not to show artificial emotions, that we should kick in the head someone who is pretending to have deep emotions for Krishna. Yes. And this will be proper showing of mercy, because this kicking in the head is also showing mercy. Yes. But we should long for this raga. Otherwise, it is explained, if we don't develop raga for Krishna, it's impossible to achieve Krishna in Vrindavan. It's impossible. And it is explained that there are two ways of performing sadhana for one who is on the path of Raganuga Bhakti. One is external, and external is following the principles of Adi Bhakti. So we, on the path of Raganuga Bhakti, we chant the holy name regularly, at least 16 rounds without offense. Read regularly, hear classes regularly, come to Mangalarati regularly. Yes, we just follow the process prescribed by our acharyas. But in our heart, we always serve Radha and Krishna in Vrindavan. As Lord Chaitanya instructed Raghunath Das Goswami, Amani manadahanya Krishna nama sadalabe, Vraja Radha Krishna seva manasa koribe. That you should be amanina manadahanya. You should be completely humble, without any expectation of respect for yourself. But you should give respect to all other living entities. Manada. Yes, you should respect every living entity. Krishna nama sadalabe, and always chant the holy name. Always chant the holy name for 24 hours a day, if possible. Vraja Radha Krishna manasa seva manasa koribe. But in your heart, in your mind, you should always serve Radha and Krishna in Vrindavan. So this is instruction of how to achieve Radha and Krishna. This is the only way. There is no other way. Hare Krishna. You want to ask something? Yes.
What is the method for offering a ghee lamp in this month?
What is the method?
How do we actually do it?
Yes, one is of course the instruction that 4 times we offer a ghee lamp to the feet of Lord Damodar, 2 times around his waist, 3 times around his head, and 7 times around his whole body. But of course, before you do this, you offer your this lamp and your love to your spiritual master, Srila Prabhupada. Because it is explained in Puranas that worship of Krishna without worshipping of your spiritual master first is useless. Krishna is not satisfied with such a worship. So, but when we offer, we should know that this is not a mechanical process again. We should offer our love. This is external expression of our love. Should be external expression of our love. And with this prayerful mood, Krishna, please, by this lamp, please enlighten my heart with love for you. Yes, because lamp gives light. And Maya is darkness. And where there is Krishna, there is no darkness. So please enter my heart with this lamp of love for you, that I can serve you properly. If you don't have proper understanding of Krishna, proper love of Krishna, we cannot serve him properly. Therefore, sadhana means practice. That means that we haven't achieved the desired goal yet. And this practice means external and internal practice. Internal practice means to pray for bhava. Yes, for this mood. For love of Krishna, of Radha and Krishna. And external, of course, is to follow the procedure given by our acharyas. Like 4, 2, 3, 7. Is this okay? Hare Krishna. Anything else? Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Gantara Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Kārttika Māsa ki jai, Kārttika Vrata ki jai, Nitai Gaur Premanande, Hare Krishna. Please accept my humble